Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope that you all are doing fine. I'm sorry there were some technical issues, but it's sorted now. I hope that you all had a good weekend. So, today our lesson will be direct and indirect objects. First, you have to log in using the aplusstudent.com. You click on your name, you move on to language art, the grade 6. The chapter will be direct and indirect object, and the lesson is it a direct object or an indirect object? Alright, so a direct object is the pronoun now or noun phrase that receives the action of a verb. So usually the direct object will receive the action of a verb. So it could be either a pronoun, a noun, or even a noun phrase. Okay. To find the direct object in a sentence, you have to locate the action verb and ask what or whom it is acting on. Okay, so you're asking what is it acting on or whom is it acting on. So, for example, we have Jane admires her neighbor. Now, whom does Jane admire? Her neighbor, right? Her neighbor is a direct object in the sentence. All right, so what or whom is it acting on? And then you can ask the question, whom does Jane admire? Now we have Charlie baked a cake. Now, what did Charlie bake? Now, words, right? So this is where we're using words, and then we used whom for this part. So, whom or what did Charlie bake? So, it's a cake. A cake is a direct object in the sentence. All right. All right, so we have that some verbs that have a direct object can also have an indirect, of course, indirect and direct. An indirect object is the pronoun noun or noun phrase that receives the direct object of a verb. So it is receiving the direct object of a verb. Now, the indirect object always appears in between a verb and its direct object. All right, so it's appearing in between a verb and its direct object. So now to find the indirect object in a sentence, you have to locate the action verb and its direct object and ask to what or to whom the direct object been given or for what or for whom the direct object has been performed. Alright, so we have that Charlie baked his mom a cake. For whom did Charlie bake a cake? It will be for his mom. So he baked for his mom, right? Now his mom is is the indirect object in the sentence. Alright? Alright, so we also have to be careful not to confuse an indirect object with an object of preposition. Okay, now an object of preposition is a pronoun, noun, or noun phrase that comes directly after, such as to, for, in, under, or during. Alright, so we have Charlie baked a cake for his mom. Here, his mom is an object of a preposition, alright, not an indirect object. You can tell because his mom comes directly after the preposition for, and because it does not appear in between the verb baked and the direct object, a cake. Okay, so looking at this now, you can see that bake here is the verb and the cake here would be what's the direct object. So usually the indirect comes in between the verb and the direct object. Alright? So let's look at some sentences. Okay. Is the phrase in both a direct object or an indirect object? At our favorite Italian restaurant, my father always ordered us an extra cannoli for dessert. Right? So we have direct objects and extra here. So in is the word in bold a direct object or an indirect object? For Chinese New Year, my aunt cooks us traditional pork dumplings. So indirect because what? It's in between the verb and then the direct object. Okay? So we'll move on to the test and you can share your answers with me. Okay? Alright. Alright, so is the word in bold, your answers, guys. Is the word in bold a direct object or indirect? Kimi owes Laverne $20 for last night's dinner. So is it direct or indirect? Because she's owing. So what do you think? Direct objects. So now this isn't a direct object. Why? Because we can just easily see that here. Alright, so it says that this is the indirect because it has the verb ors and then to whom does Kimi owe $20? Alright, so it's the indirect of the verb owe. So it's asking to whom. And remember that we have the indirect in between the verb and the direct objects. Okay. Alright, we have, so it's the phrase direct object or indirect. So down the one in bold here. Farmers often feed their dairy cattle high protein alfalfa hay. So is it direct or indirect object? Alright, so this one will be direct objects. Okay. Alright, so we have Mimi offered an elderly man her seat on the bus. Is this direct or indirect? Alright, so this is the indirect object. Okay, great. Alright, so we also have Ryan sent his aunt a thank you card for her thoughtful graduation gift. So, is this indirect or direct? Direct. Okay, good job, guys. Okay. Bobby caught us a huge catfish for lunch. Bobby caught us a huge catfish for lunch. So, is it direct or indirect here? So, direct. Okay, good. So, we have the yoga instructor taught the beginners a few basic poses. Now, direct or indirect? So is this direct or indirect? What is the right one here? Option one or two? Option one. So this is indirect actually. Viva sent her grandmother a postcard from Chicago. Now, is this direct or indirect? She sent her grandmother a postcard from Chicago. What do you think here? Okay, so the direct object. Okay, so for Chinese New Year, my aunt cooks us traditional pork dumplings. So is this direct or indirect now? All right, so this is indirect. Okay, good job, guys. Now we have the salesman offered his customers a discount. The salesman offered his customers a discount. Is this direct or indirect? Alright, so direct object. Okay, good job, guys. So we have the trainer at the gym showed Brett a simple exercise routine. Now, what is this one? Direct or indirect objects? So option one, okay, good job, guys. All right, so we have the University of Milford gave Arjun funding for his research project. So, indirect, direct, or neither of them. What do you think? Okay, neither. So, which one are we going with? Direct object. Okay, good job. It was direct object. So, at our favorite Italian restaurant, my father always orders an extra cannoli for the set. Is it direct or indirect? All right. So, others orders an extra cannoli. Okay. So, every summer, Mr. Rodolfo serves local beachgoers ice cream from the boardwalk. Is this direct or indirect? Okay. Option one, but that's indirect actually. Okay. That movie gave me nightmares for weeks. Direct or indirect? Indirect. Okay. All right, so Craig sent his aunt a thank you card for her thoughtful graduation gift. So what's this one? Direct or indirect? Okay, so indirect. But that's direct. Okay. The pie shop owner happily baked Carly a fresh blackberry pie for her party. So is this direct or indirect? What is the right one for this one? Okay. Alright, so is this direct or indirect? Direct objects. Alright, so that's it for this lesson under direct or indirect objects. You have to make sure you complete it and also go on with the final test. Before we finish for today, can you tell me if you have any questions? Do you guys have any questions or no questions at all? If you have any question, you can ask, and then we sort it out before we end. Alright, so since we all have no questions, we will end here for today. Hi, how are you doing? You came a bit late, we're finishing now. You can rewatch the live if you want to, but then you try to join again earlier on Thursday or so when we have grade 3, 5, and 6 again. Alright, yeah, Wednesday. You can join on Wednesday. Alright, so guys, have a good evening and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.